Siri_bot says, Siri_bot is here, Saribo arrive.
SiriBot connection needs refresh.
I may not know ball like you do, AI.
Yawns laughed says, get refreshed, loser.
I'm trying. Reauthorized. All right, how am I gonna do this? I think I know. Eh. Takes up so much space. Is the only thing. I mean, fuck, I guess.
If you're on Windows, that'll download an executable, which you should install. If you're on a Mac, it's an application you drag to your applications folder. And also, if you're at school or you're on a work computer that won't let you install anything, you can still use Blender. If you download the portable zip version of Blender, then just unzip it, you can run Blender from the folder. Pretty cool. Anyway, however you got Blender, open it and you should see this. Then just click anywhere off the splash screen to close it and you're in Blender.
We're here. We're at. Same version.
Hey, welcome. So this big section, this big gray area here, this is your...
He said he releases a tutorial for every major version update, going from 4.0 to 5.0. He started this in November 24th. And he has a cat. What are you doing? Playing on the counters. He's got a big old fucking post-tutorial tutorial that is $300. Or 6 installments of 50.
Your 3D viewport, and it's where you'll spend probably 98% of your time because it's the 3D world. Whether you're making a character, you're building an environment, it all happens right here. So the first thing you need to learn is how to move around in this space, and you can orbit by middle mouse pushing. So your scroll wheel, if you just push it in until it clicks, that's your middle mouse button. And then if you just drag that around, you can orbit. If you don't have a middle mouse button, a lot of people don't. They're on like a laptop with a trackpad or something. You guys will struggle. It's definitely easier if you have a mouse. But in a pinch, top right-hand corner, you just mouse over this little circle and then just click and drag on that. That'll do the same thing. Or the third alternative way to do it, edit, preferences, and then underneath input, emulate 3-button mouse. And then if you hold down Alt and then left-click drag, that will do the same thing. I don't want that. By the way, whilst I am here, a value that you will want to change, if you're on a 4K monitor, you will probably have noticed that like Blender looks like this, where like everything is really super tiny and you have to squint to see it. So underneath interface, I changed my resolution scale to at least a 1.5, usually like 1.8. But for tutorials, I go even higher so you can really see everything. But it's obviously much easier to use when you can see things clearly. Okay, so middle mouse drag, that's how you orbit around. You can see we're focusing on our cube at the moment though. So how do we...
Hang on, there's some shit in my eye. What the fuck? An eyelash was falling out. It didn't though. Saved it. Oh, I can't do that. I guess it doesn't hurt. A little unprofessional, but whatever.
Move to somewhere else. You do that by shift middle mouse drag, and that will pan you somewhere else. You can also over here on the side there, click that little hand, that will do the same thing. But yeah, shift middle mouse drag or middle mouse drag to orbit. And what about zoom? You can probably guess you might have already done it by mistake, but just zooming by scrolling in and out on your wheel. Or again, you can go to the little magnifying glass there, just click on that and do that. Or alternatively, control middle mouse, and then that will also move you in as well. So I've thrown a lot of keyboard shortcuts at you already. Middle mouse for this, shift middle mouse to pan, scroll. If you don't want to have to remember all the hotkeys, because I'm going to throw a lot more at you. If you don't want to have to write them down yourself, I have done it for you. So I put together a Google Doc with all of the most common.
No shit. There's currently 43 total people looking at this. And rising. God damn. Okay.
Diablo 4 says, good afternoon guys and a happy new year to you all. Black Hat Luck.
Hey Diablo, happy new year. 2026. 10 minutes before New Year's dropped, police showed up in our cul-de-sac at some house, and you just hear fucking, get the fuck on the ground, get the fuck on the ground, don't move. Like, damn, you couldn't wait like 10 more minutes, fucking celebrate New Year's, then fucking commit domestic violence. I don't know why he got arrested.
Diablo 4 says, LUL.
There's like 5 police cars outside. But they towed a car immediately, so I assume it was just like a stolen vehicle. Because I don't imagine they'd tow your car right away if you get arrested. So it's vehicular related, I presume.
And shortcuts that you might need to use, and it's free. So just click the link below, and you can print it out. You can.
Yeah, as far as people getting arrested and I guess potential shootouts, were positioned perfectly. Solistar. Thank you for following. I don't know why I thought I'd hear a fucking TTS name be called out as soon as a follow happened. It's been a minute. Damn. But no, we're on like we're facing the road. So if there's a shootout, we're just, you know, it's gonna be like that. We're in the clear. We're not in line of fire.
Stick it on your wall. A lot of people do that, and it's
you in line of fire.
big time.
LOL.
Yeah. Okay, now it's really common to like get lost. Like one way is to like end up upside down like this, and then you're like, which way is up? How do I, if you just over here, this gizmo thing, these colored circle things with lines, those are your axes. So if you just click on one of those, that'll reorient yourself. So the Z, that's the top axis, and then you're back, right? You know which way is up because it's that way, right? Which way that one is pointing. Another way, like if you got like really off into the weeds, like you were over here, and then you're like, how do I get back to where I was? If you've got an object selected and you just want to focus on, like just fly to it, and this is a really common hotkey, you use it all the time. It's numpad period, and that'll just fly you to that. If you don't have a numpad, like even a lot of keyboards today, they don't sell them with numpads anymore, I guess because people aren't accountants, they don't need to quickly type in numbers, but I love them because it's really useful for Blender. If you don't have one, you can also use the tilde key, which is that little key underneath your escape key. So if you hold that down and then just drag over where it says view selected and then release, that'll do the exact same thing. So that is how you can quickly change focus to the selected object. And yeah, as I said, you do this all the time. But yeah, I'm going to be using numpad period from now on. Okay, so we're making a donut. We do not need our cube here, so let's delete it. You can just hit delete on your keyboard, or what I like to do is hit X, which is the alternative way. And it's just easier because my finger is like right there. I know it's another hotkey to remember, but
I realized the delete key doesn't always delete objects. It's not a universal button for every single thing. Sometimes it doesn't work. X key does though. So I should get used to that.
You delete stuff a lot as well, and it's helpful to not have to find that key. So X and then delete. And now I want to add a new object, and I can do that by going to add at the top of the screen there, or alternatively, the hotkey, another one to throw at you, Shift A, and that'll just put it wherever your cursor is, and it's the exact same list.
Yeah.
But this list,
I think that's also universal. Shift A is to add. Notice that with the shading, Shift A is just the add key, the tab. So yeah.
Here is, I mean, it's extensive. There's stuff in here that I have never used in my 21 years of using Blender. Speaker, never, ever used it. Don't know what it's for. Most of the time, what you're looking for is underneath mesh. So these are your primitive mesh objects. And generally when you're making something, you pick one of these that most resembles or is closest to what it is you're making. Like if you're making a mailbox, you might start with a cube.
I've got a few add-ons, so it looks like I have a little extra. But I think it'd be easy to just ignore these. I'm gonna see how long I go without running into any issues with add-ons on. I'm gonna keep them enabled.
Making a lamp post, you might start with a cylinder. We're starting well, we're trying to make a donut, so we need to start with a torus, which is basically a donut. Look at that.
Whoa.
So that's cool. It's a wimpy looking donut though, right? It's very, very flimsy. We want to make it look more thicker, right? So in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little box that says add torus, and this has additional options for us. Now, if you accidentally clicked off after you added the torus, that box is gone. You can momentarily bring it back by hitting F9, but that's only if you haven't changed something. So essentially, yeah, it's called the last used function in Blender. So that immediately after you do an action in Blender, sometimes you see in the bottom left-hand corner additional options which you can tweak and change things if you need. So if you don't see it, it just means you've done something else and it's gone. But yeah, you can bring it back momentarily by hitting F9.
Okay, so that's what it is. I was wondering, I'm like... Okay. Okay, because I thought it was something where, like... I had to, like, confirm it into the world. And I'm like, I don't know how to confirm it into the world, because I'd be scared to click off and, like, settings be reverted because I didn't confirm something. It clears it up.
Sometimes, but I usually just like redo it. Anyways, so first thing I want to change is
I could honestly probably put this down here.
the size of this thing. So it is one.
Okay, I am going to make food back in aisle.
I'll be here. I'm trying to get Subway, but the app, like they're open, but the app is like, no, you can't order right now. I was like, all right.
Meter, which is like 3 feet for the Americans, is the size of this thing. So it is 1 meter, which is like 3 feet for the Americans. It's a big donut. Probably shouldn't be that big. It should be about 10% of that. So 0.1, which is 10 centimeters, roughly about that. And then if I zoom in by scrolling forward, I just need to change my minor radius until it looks somewhat like a donut. So I want to just orbit up, right, and around. So I'm just middle mouse moving so I can see the inside. And then I'll just scroll in, right, and around. So I'm just a donut. So I want to just orbit up, right.
I don't know how he's... Okay. I can't... This thing's so flimsy. Disappears immediately. I wonder if something I changed in the... settings. Hang on. Let's figure this out. The last used function. Stop. So I'm in Blender 5.0.1. My last used function window disappears whenever I click onto the viewfinder and I'm trying to rotate around my model. I would like for the window to not disappear. Well, how's he doing it? Redo the operation F9. I don't want to. How's he keeping his window open? Is there not an add-on to keep it open? No? How's he doing it?
Right, and around. So I'm just middle mouse moving so I can see the inside. And then I'll just scroll in like so until, yeah, and I'm just going to change this value until
I don't know how.
it looks like, and so I'm just middle mouse moving so I can see the inside. All it and
Hold on.
it's a blonde thing.
Wait.
You can momentarily bring it back by hitting F9, but that's only if you haven't changed something. So essentially, yeah, it's called the last.
I see. So F9, it's temporary. Yeah.
Last used function in Blender. So immediately after you do an action in Blender, sometimes you see in the bottom left-hand corner additional options which you can tweak and change things if you need. So if you don't see it, it just means you've done something else and it's gone. But yeah, you can bring it back momentarily by hitting F9 sometimes. But I usually just like redo it. Anyways. So first thing I want to change is the size of this thing. So it is 1 meter, which is like 3 feet for the Americans. It's a big donut. Probably shouldn't be that big. It should be about 10% of that. So 0.1, which is 10 centimeters, roughly about that. And then if I zoom in by scrolling forward, I just need to change my minor radius until it looks somewhat like a donut. So I want to just orbit up, right, and around. So I'm just middle mouse moving so I can see the inside. Then I'll just scroll in like so until, yeah, and I'm just going to change this value until it looks like a donut. Now, you can see as I move this, like it's going really quick and I can't get it on the right value. So when you're clicking and dragging on a value in Blender, if you hold down Shift, that will use smaller increments. And that's another one you use all the time because it's, yeah, sometimes you need small values and it's helpful to get smaller increments like that. So that's pretty good. I might go with that. Yeah, about a 0.057. Okay. And then the other thing you can change here is like...
That donut's not going to get cooked entirely. It's not dense enough. Or it's too dense. I don't know. The Krispy Kremes are the peak donut. Yeah.
The resolution of the donut, you know, you can go like really PlayStation 1 graphics, maybe. I'm going to keep it at, is like the resolution of the donut. You know, you can go like really PlayStation 1 graphics, maybe. I'm going to keep it at 48, but I'm going to increase the other one to about, yeah, let's go 18 like that. 16, 18, yeah, we'll go 18. And that's just a little bit more resolution, and it's just going to help us a little bit later on when we start to shape.
I can't wait to do the Final Fantasy 14 1.0. Give my barrels fucking... How many polygons? Final Fantasy 14 barrel polygon count. Um, 1.0 polygon count. Was it barrels or flower pots? Okay, single flower pot containing over 1,000 polygons. Okay. So the flower pots were in barrels. Anyway.
Shape the donut. Okay, but once I've got that, I can just click off, and now those options are gone. We've committed. That's it. That is the starting point of our donut.
Hell yeah.
Now, the next thing you're probably wondering is, it still kind of looks like PlayStation 1 graphics, Andrew.
does.
And that's because it has flat shading. So basically, there's two states for a mesh. There's smooth shading or there is flat shading, and it defaults to flat. If you want to change it to smooth, you just right-click the object and then go Shade Smooth, like that. And there we go.
Hold
It's
on. Wait. Just like that?
fixed. So it basically shade smooth without getting too technical. Anytime there is like two faces, it just kind of smooths out that point like fakery. So it's not actually adding any additional computation times, which is important, but it's appearing to the eye to be smooth. Okay, so
Okay. Oh, I see. Interesting. I can still see it. I can still see the polygons. Cool. That's fucking black magic though.
in previous donut versions, we would start making the icing, and although that's fun to make like dribbling icing, it can be a little complicated. A lot of users ran into their first roadblocks at that time. So instead, we're going to do something a little bit easier to start with and more practical, and that's to make a coffee mug. So we need to add in a new object, which, if you can remember from before, it's
wait, we're ditching the donut. We can't.
The add menu at the top there, or the hotkey, as I like to use, Shift A.
Oh, yeah.
And then underneath mesh, you're looking for something that most resembles the object you're trying to create. No prizes for guessing. The cylinder.
No
okay, so it comes in very, very big. It's completely engulfing our donut. So again, in the bottom left-hand corner, click that little add cylinder.
Hang on, I clicked off it. God damn it.
And I'm going to change the radius first of all, just to bring this back. You can like do this after the fact, like resize something, but it just helps to, you know, at this point, see it all together. I think I'm going to make it around holding down Shift and just kind of drag it back and forth. Yeah, about 0.13 or exactly 0.13. And then the depth, this is just the height of it. And again, you can change this later on, but just want to see it roughly the right size. The big one that's important is the vertices. And we're actually going to make this look more low res. Now, why would we make it look more low res? Because now it's obviously very jagged. The reason for this is that very soon we're going to be adding in something called a subsurf modifier, which adds over the top of our existing mesh. It adds more geometry, like it doubles the geometry and it kind of smooths it out. So actually, if you start too high like this, then you're adding like doubling that geometry and doubling it again, and then you can quickly end up with something that's too computationally heavy. So when you're working and you know you're going to be doing something subdiv, sometimes it helps to start like chunkier, low res. Anyway, just trust me and set it to 14. Like that. Okay, great. So we've got another object and they are completely overlapping. Anyway.
So that's all I did. UVs. Okay, I'm not gonna fuck with anything else. I'll be good.
Just trust me and set it to 14 like that. Okay, great. So we've got another object and they are completely overlapping.
What the fuck is a meter? It's the only thing.
So how do we separate things? Some of you might already know this. You can guess, right? Left-hand side there, there's a tool that looks like it would be able to move something. It's the move tool. So this is one way to move things. You activate that and you get this little gizmo, and look, I can move it and I can separate them. So this is moving things along the axes. You can also just drag on that, click and drag on that little white circle there, and then that's like freehand drag around. I will say most Blender users don't actually use and move things this way because it's a lot of effort every time you want to move something to like go to the sidebar, activate the tool, you know, click it, move it. It's like Most people don't do that. Instead, they remember the hotkey. And the hotkey to move in Blender, and you'll be using this a lot. So again, this is on my keyboard shortcut. It's all in there, but the hotkey is G for grab. Now, you will notice very quickly that when you tap G, the moment you tap it, you are already in the move state. So it's now attached to my cursor, even though I didn't click. Okay, so, and here's the other thing. My cursor could be on the other side of the screen. It doesn't have to be anywhere near the object. And then the moment you tap G, it's now anchored to that cursor. And even more, I think it's cool. When you go to the other side of the screen, it actually, your cursor appears on the other side. So it's just like an infinitely repeating thing there. But at first, this is like hard to wrap your head around because Blender does this for a lot of things, like not just moving something, but also rotating something. The moment I tap R, which is how to rotate something, or S, okay, I thought I might as well just teach you all three at the same time. So G to move something, G for grab, R to rotate, or S to scale something. But you'll see in each of those states, the moment you hit the key, no matter where your cursor is, it's in that state. And that's actually a good thing because, as I said, the number of times you need to move things and rotate and scale things in 3D, if you had to every single time change the tool, then move your cursor over to it, click it, activate it, that's a lot of extra steps. So it's actually really cool to have this like just one tap key and it's already activated. Anyways, okay, so, but whilst I'm in the move state by tapping G, I can also lock it to a specific axis, just like with those arrows that you saw before. So just when it's in that move state, you tap the axis you want to move it on. So that's the X axis, the Y brings it back and forwards, and the Z is just when it's in that move state, you tap the axes you want to move it on. So that's the X axis, the Y brings it back and forwards, and the Z is up and down. Okay, and that's correct. Blender is Z up, Y backwards and forwards. Different 3D applications have different things. There's no like standard, but yeah, that's how Blender's is. And by the way, if you forget which letter is which axis, you can actually see them up there in that little circle there. So again, X, Y, and Z. Anyways, I want to move this actually just a little bit further back right there. So I want my donut to be the front and center, and I want this to be at the back there. But then how do I change my view so I'm no longer just pivoting on my donut? I want to shift my focus to that selected object. It's number pad period. Or again, holding down that tilde key under your escape button and then hitting view selected is the same thing. Okay, so let's make this look like a coffee mug. So we have to edit this object and...
Hang on, what axis is it on? Okay, same axis as him. I'm like, I don't want to be on a different side of the donut than him. I gotta move the camera.
To edit an object, we have to change what mode we are in. So in the top left-hand corner of the screen...
No, wait, what? Are we not smoothing this out? The donut's so smooth, but the coffee mug's so not.
There's a little drop down, which if you click, we can change it into edit mode.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're in edit mode, you can see the state has changed. The object that was selected now has a bunch of points and lines on it. And you'll also notice whilst you're in edit mode, you can't actually select any object. And it's worth pointing out this because this is a really common thing. A lot of beginners, they say, I don't know what happened, but I couldn't select anything in Blender. And usually it's just they're in the wrong state. They're in edit mode, they forgot, and then they try.
Yeah, in the first tutorial, he says the tab button you're going to be using basically all the time. Swapping in and out, like tab targeting. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that.
To like come over here and then click something and they're like, why is it not selecting? Okay, so you have to be in object mode if you want to select an object. And if you want to edit something, you have to be in edit mode.
Say tab.
But going to this drop down and doing this time and again would again be annoying. So Blender, of course, has a hotkey for it, and that is tab. So tab will just cycle you in and out of object and edit mode, just those two states, which is great because you need to use this all the time. So you usually come in, do some editing, go back into object mode, select something else, edit that one, go back to this. So that's, yeah, good one to remember, tab. All right, so in edit mode, when I'm in this state here, these little points here, these are called vertices. These are the points that make up the the shape of the mesh, obviously. And then you've got edges, and you can actually select by changing the selection type from vertices, which is the default, to edges, clicking that little button, and then I can click on the edges or select faces. Okay, like this. And again, Blender has hotkeys for everything. So if you want to just know the hotkey, it's 1 to do vertice select, 2 to do edge select, and then 3 to do face select. Again, make sure you get my keyboard shortcut guide because it's a lot to remember. So I want to select the top of this cup here. It's got a lid on it that I don't want. So in face select mode, selecting that face, I'm going to hit X. Now it's going to ask me, what part do you want to delete? Which might sound redundant, but there is quite a lot of times in Blender you want to delete, even though you've selected a bunch of faces, you want to delete the entire vertices of those faces. So we have to confirm we want to delete just the faces from this list. And there we go. So we've now got a cup with a hole in it.
Yeah.
Great. But this cup will not do. It is too paper thin. We could cut our finger on that edge there. So we need to add some thickness to this cup. And while we could do this in edit mode, like you could select everything and extrude it in and whatnot, we don't need to because there is actually a function we can do to add thickness to anything without needing to go into edit mode. And that is underneath your modifier stack here. So if you click this little wrench, this will activate modifiers. Let's just drag this out. And if you click add modifier at the top there, you can see you've got a number of different...
He's back in object mode. Shit. Wrench modifier. Yeah.
Different options. And the one that we're looking for is solidify. So this is underneath the generate. And just in case this changes for a future version of Blender, you can also go to search at the top there, and you could just type in solidify from the list.
I believe you could also control F sometimes. I think it depends. I think when you're like on some screens, you can control F. It'll bring up a search box. Anyway. Right. Solidify.
Okay. So now that we've got that, you can see we've got a bunch of options, and you'll notice that our mesh now has some thickness to it.
It does.
And I can change this thickness here. Now, watch what happens as I enter into edit mode. You will notice, as I select these faces here, I can't select this inside part of the cup there. And that's an important point because modifiers are not actually adjusting the real mesh. So the real mesh still exists here. If I disable this from the viewport by clicking this little monitor button there, you'll see that my mesh has not changed. This is just applying this effect after the fact. So it's basically...
Oh. So this would be a way to optimize. Interesting. Otherwise, it'd be creating like effectively double the vertices, which would slow your shit down.
In object mode, it's taking whatever mesh that you give it, which is this, and then it's adding thickness to every face, essentially. So the reason this is so useful is that this is a non-destructive workflow. So I could, at any point, I could be doing a bunch of changes to my mug here. I could, we'll get to all that later on. We could, change the size and things. And then later on I can go, you know what? I think that's a little bit too thick. I'm going to change that. And I can come back to that and very quickly adjust it. So non-destructive, and it's obviously very helpful for a lot of things. Okay, so I've given it some thickness.
We're not going to keep it this thick, though, are we?
Full. Back to that and very...
0.21. Oops. It's still thick, boy, but I trust you.
Very quickly adjust it. So non-destructive, and it's obviously very helpful for a lot of things. Okay, so I've given it some thickness, but I also want to round this corner here. That's way too jagged. Just like before I said, we're going to add in an extra layer on top, which adds more geometry, and that is called your add modifier, generate.
Hold on, wait.
Geometry, and And that is called your add modifier, generate subdivision surface. So yeah, all the way down there. You use it all the time, but it's like buried in there. Okay, so subdivision surface. So this appears to have like screwed up the mesh. It's like, whoa, what actually happened there? Let's just increase
Oh, you know what? It is still thick, isn't it?
the levels viewport. So this is just increasing the number of times that it doubles the geometry. So you can see this is what we start with, right? This is the start. This is one level. Then this is 2 levels, and then this is 3 levels. And every time you do it, it's doubling the geometry. But you can see it's giving us the effect we want. It's smoothing out that edge there. But because of the way that it works, like basically, if you look at, let's go back to this. We've got this hard corner here, right? That's just like a 90-degree corner. So let me get in a little bit closer. We've got basically, if you look at, let's go back to this. We've got this hard corner here, right? That's just like a 90-degree corner. So let me get in a little bit closer here so you can kind of see it. Yeah, it's like a 90-degree, perfectly like that. So when you add in a subdivision surface, it's basically saying, okay, so there's a point here, there is a point all the way over here, and there is a point that's going to go all the, like it's so far it's off the screen, but it's all the way down there. So what I need to do is I need to average out those points. So take the middle point of those 3. So essentially from here to somewhere around here, and I'm going to add in a point like here, right? And then if you do another level, like level 2, it then places a point here, and then another point here. And then if you do another level, it places another point here, another point here, another point here. And because there's 2 sides to this mug, there's like another one happening on that side, right? So we've now just got this like really super like oval shaped edge like this, okay? Which is why when I turn it on, we get this effect there. So what we first of all need to do in edit mode with our mug here. So I am in, actually it doesn't matter what mode I'm actually in here. But what I need to do is essentially tighten an edge where that smoothing is happening. So it's no longer happening from all the way here to smooth it all the way down to there. I want to happen at like just to about there. So I need to add in more geometry onto this mesh here. So to do that, we need to add a loop cut. That is how you add in another level of another edge. So Control R will add in this loop cut. I believe you can also find it from the mesh, like somewhere in here. Yeah, there you go. Edge, loop cut and slide if you wanted to look it in there. But it's, yeah, Control R,
wait.
edge.
So it's an edge.
Like somewhere in here. Yeah, there you go. Edge, loop cut and slide if you wanted to look it in there. But it's, yeah, Control R. That's another one you use all the time. So when I hit Control R, it's saying, where do you want to place the cut in this mesh? And I could place it, you know, anywhere between a face, essentially. So I'm going to place it along this middle. So you do a single click, and then it's saying, where do you want to place that vertically on this this row of faces, essentially. So you can see as I bring it towards the top there, it's tightening that edge there. Okay, and that's exactly what I want. I want that edge to be much tighter than it was before. So that edge is now looking good, but now what about this one at the bottom there? Yeah. This one's looking even worse. We've got a lot to fix here. But first, I need to do another loop cut. So Control R, and then again, single click to confirm I want it on that row of faces. I do. And then I'm just sliding it along until it's, you know, roughly about there at the bottom of my mug. Okay. And then you can see it's like...
Hold on. I couldn't... Get a little lower. How about that?
Like this whole area here, this face here, it's become like a like it's turned it into a star. And not to get too complicated, but basically a subsurf modifier. It has to know what to do. And generally, if there's like faces that are made up of 4 vertices, this is getting complicated, I can tell. It knows what to do. It makes it like nice and smooth. But the moment you have a face that is made up of more than 4 vertices, it's called an n-gon. And it doesn't really know what to do with it. I mean, it does, but you don't know what it's going to do. And it just can make things look a little ugly. Right. N-gon is kind of like a dirty word in 3D space. It's like, oh, you never want to have an n-gon. They are actually useful and they, do have a purpose, but generally speaking, they're good to avoid if you don't know what.
I'm putting on a jacket.
What you're doing. So anyway, I should tell you what I'm doing. The way to fix this is I need to add another loop that kind of just goes around here, right there. So that way I've only got from there to there, and then I can have my ugly star or whatever happening underneath my coffee mug. Right. So I need to add a loop cut, but I can't add a loop cut on just a single face. Yeah, instead, what I need to do is it's called inset, to take a single face and then just like add in a loop around that face. And you do that by hitting I. So I, and then just like it's already active. Again, this is the way, this is why I spent a while to explain it. The moment you activate a tool, you're already in that selection state. So I hit I, and wherever my cursor is, it's now going like, where do you want to put this inset? Okay. So I'm just moving it back and forth until I get it. How tight do I want this edge to look? Something like that, maybe. I mean, it's underneath the coffee mug. It doesn't really matter that much, but yeah, something like that. And there we go. So you can see this looks a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And again, because we are in a non-destructive workflow, I've still got my solidify modifier at the top here, right? I could change the thickness of this. I can make this a really chunky looking coffee mug or a really thin one. And that is the benefit of a non-destructive workflow. And then I can also change how high res do I want my coffee mug to look. And this is the way to work in 3D. This is the best way to do it because, if a client wants you to change something or whatnot, keeping in a flexible workflow is definitely a good place to be. Okay, so we have created the start of a coffee mug, and we have also created.
Damn, he's leaving it at 2.
We have created the start of a coffee mug, and we have also created a donut. Yeah. Good time to save. Good time to save. So File, Save As, or Shift Control S, and then Save As. So
I'm gonna do this with cam face. You don't know what's going to come up. I'm going to put it right in the Blender folder.
The way I like to save things, and you might want to copy this, is to, you come up with a name, underscore, whatever, and then you put a number after it. And then you can actually see I've already saved my file. I don't want to override my existing save in case I need to go back to it for whatever reason. So I just want to add a number to it. And in other softwares, you have to come here and you have to type in the number, right? Not Blender. Blender has a hotkey for everything. If you hit plus or minus on your numpad, or on the little field here. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm right over the top of it, right there. This little field, these little plus and minus, it'll automatically add a number to the end of your file. So that's, really useful. So I'm just going to add a 2 there, and I'm going to hit save. All right, so if you're watching this in the split version of the tutorial,
Wait,
you
said he
can
was
click
using a hotkey?
it on your numpad. Blender has a hotkey for everything. If you hit plus or minus on your numpad or on the little field here, oh, you can't even see it. I'm right over the top of it, right there. This little field, these little plus and minus, it'll automatically add a number to the end of your file. So that's, yeah, really useful. So I'm just going to add a 2 there, and I'm going to hit save. All right, so if you're watching this in the split version of the tutorial, you can click here to watch part 2, or if you're watching the combined single long.
Part 2.
Welcome back. It is time to make our
There's no combined single long version yet. We'll get there.
coffee mug look like a coffee mug and not like a sad little cup. So we could
What about the donut?
try to model this from our imagination, because like, hey, we all pick up coffee mugs, we know what they look like,
Oh,
or
no.
we think we know what they look like. Something that you learn very quickly in 3D is that when you model something from
Is that you don't know what it looks like.
imagination, it almost always comes out looking a little bit funny. And the reason for that is that your brain is very good at like abstracting away the information that isn't important to it. Like if you just close your eyes right now and just think of a doorknob, like what does a doorknob look like, right? If you had to make one in Blender, what would it be? It's like, okay, well, it's like a sphere bit. You like grip it, you turn it, and there's like a cylinder
Yeah.
thing at the back, and there's a cylinder that connects it,
And a plate.
and that's kind of it. But then if you were to make that, you end up with something that looks really basic and boring and bad. And then you go actually look at a real doorknob and you forget there's all this other detail that's
You
just
fucking
not
say,
important
oh, shit.
to your brain, like the little lip inside, the little hole that's on there that's so you can put a key in to kind of like pry it open, or a rim that kind of like cuts into it. So there's like a separate seam around it. There's the privacy lock on the front. All these things that just don't matter to you when you're turning a handle. And so you forgot that they even existed because you never even saw it really. So the same thing applies to even something as common as a coffee mug. So it helps when possible to use reference images. Now, you can get reference images from anywhere because we have the power of the internet.
Yeah.
And you can type in handmade coffee mug and you can pick any mug you want to create. There's a lot. And, you know, if you want to pick one of these, if you want to just go on Google Images, you can pick one of these and go for it. I'm going to give you an image that I've used, but you can, there's some really pretty ones here. And I was actually shocked just whilst like clicking on some of these sites before. I was like, oh yeah, like that's a cute little handmade mug. And then you go like, oh my gosh, $123.
It's a collector's
and 25 cents.
edition.
And that's a discount from 145. And then you think like, oh, it must be like a one of one, like, you know, a unique thing. Like, no, there's like 9 reviews. Like people are buying it. I'm like,
Fine,
I don't know. I got to make more money or something. Like, I don't know how people are buying $123 coffee mugs. I think it's also like we forget what labor costs, you know? Like you think like a coffee mug is like $2, right? Or $1, or it's free. Like it's just, there's so many of them. It doesn't even matter. But like, no, like to hand make something, like
You're buying it for the name. It's a collector's edition. Is that what we're going to be making?
obviously any of these mugs, they take more than a few hours to make
It's the Yeezys of fucking coffee mugs.
if you're making it by hand. So like, yeah, $33 is probably like break even for them. Probably not even making any money, but it's just like, yeah. Anyways, whole side topic of like the economy of handmade ceramic mugs. But people are buying them for $123. All right. So all that is to say is I want you to get an image, and the one I'm going to use, the link for this is below. And it's on my website. I've got all the links to everything we're going to be using in this tutorial. But there's 2 ways to add images. So one way is to go to the add menu and then just go image and then say reference. And then you just pick wherever the reference.
Okay. I need a. Let me reorganize my Blender folder. So reference.
References, and you can drop it in. The alternative way, and
Oh,
it's
you know what? Let me get the. Where's the reference image? Oh. Cup reference. Yeah. All right, hold on. Why is it saying it saving as WebP? Change it to PNG. Hold on. Is that the only thing? Yeah.
something that we didn't used to be able to do, and that's to just drag over from wherever it is on your computer and then just drop it into Blender, and it will recognize it as an image and it will bring it in as an image object. So either of those ways will work.
I'm gonna do the tried and true drag and drop. Hold on. Shit. I just opened another Blender file. Fuck. That was awkward. Damn it. Falling apart. I controlled C the reference out of my fucking folder. I gotta get it back. No, not the art station. Good thing I'm in full face view. God bless. Alright, we're here. I got it, we made it.
So this is the image. This is the one we're going to use. Now, if you quickly orbit around, you'll notice that it's come in at a funny angle. Now, but I don't know why Blender does this. I think it's because they think people want it locked to the perspective that they were at when they brought it in there, but that I've never needed that. So we just need to clear this rotation and then rotate it to the way we want. So to clear the rotation, I'm going to hit Alt-R. The alternative way, Object, Clear, Rotation, Alt-R, it's the same thing. Now it's flat, so now we need to rotate it.
Yeah, where's that? Object. Huh. Did I miss it?
Prop it in.
Layout object mode. Oh, object. Okay. I understand.
Alt-R, same thing. Now it's flat. So now we need to rotate it, prop it upright so that it is flat onto, you know, how it should be relative to the scene. So I need to rotate it. So I'm going to hit R. So, but we're now in freehand rotate mode, and it's again, it's relative to where we were looking at it, which is this funny angle. So if you remember from before, when we're in a move state like rotate, scale, or grab, we can lock something to a specific axis whilst we're in this mode by just tapping the letter of that axis. And if you don't know the letter, you can see we really want it on this red line here, and that red top right hand corner, that is the X axis. So I'm going to hit X. There we go. So now it is locked to that axis, which is good. And now we want it to be 90 degrees. So you could either hold down Control, and you can see in the top, what that does is that's now moving it in 5-degree increments. Or you could just type in the number 90 on your keyboard and then hit enter.
Mouse look like that. Radius 25. I see. I don't remember that dot being there. Isn't it? W. Oh, weird. Okay. We're good. I want to put the okay, we're good. Saved. Okay, what? Okay, rotate it. Oh, right, I didn't. I forgot. Object, oh, fuck, what was it? What was it, Control-R? Clear rotation, maybe Alt-R. Now I can rotate. Holding Control. Whew. Okay, easy.
And there we go. So that's how we bring it in and clear the rotation and set it up. So
I'm with you.
all right. Now it's way too big. So hotkey to scale something, S, okay, S to scale. And now I'm just going to scale this down. And I can't see my mug. So my mug is behind it. So let me just move my mug. I'll move my mug forward. So let's move it forward to there. Okay. All right. And then now I'm going to look at it like front on. Okay. So I can do that by clicking this little minus Y at the top there.
What about the donut? The donut's like intersecting it. I'm moving the donut. Hold on.
Yeah, that'll do. Okay. All right. And then now I'm going to look at
Did
it
you move
like
the picture?
big, clear elements. See in the top, just one with the And then what that does is that type in the number 90 on your keyboard.
Oh, you know what? I guess he was a little, let's do this.
And then hit enter. And there we go. So that's how we bring it in and clear the rotation and set it up. So
Hold on, he's not here yet, but I'm gonna rename this shit. Animation. I think. So y-axis is the green. Yes. Right.
all right, now it's way too big. So hotkey to scale something, S, okay, S to scale. And now I'm just gonna scale this down and I can't see my mug. So my mug is behind it. So let me just move my mug. I'll move my mug forward. So let's move it forward to there. Okay. All right. And then now I'm going to look at it like front on. Okay, so I can do that by clicking this little minus Y at the top there. That'll do front on. Or the hotkeys, because I use my numpad. For those of you blessed with a numpad, you'll like it. You can hit numpad 1, that's front view, numpad 3, that's side view, or numpad 7, that is top view. But I use those a lot, but again, you can use these if you don't have it. Okay, so front view, and then I'm going to scroll in to zoom, shift middle mouse to pan to the side. And now I'm going to move this over here and I'm going to scale this down again to get it roughly to be the size of my mug here. Because I know
G to move, right? You know, it's got a lid, so I'm not actually looking at it from the side. It's actually like an angle like that.
I know that this mug is
Also, what do you do to the mug? Looks like his mug has more polygons than mine. But it's still. I forgot modifiers. Oh. My levels viewport yellow. Has it got a bot? It's probably an add-on. God damn it. Okay. Fine. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. Keep doing the wrong thing.
right relative to the donut, so it should be good. And then what I'm looking at for the size of this image here is I want the top
Lizard. Toil lizard.
of this rim here to roughly match the bottom down there. So this, like, I want that to match that. So it's still a little bit too big. And you'll notice I can't really easily do it from this angle. I mean, I can, but the problem is that this photograph is taken with a camera from the real world where there is perspective. But we are looking in 3D, and actually when we're in an axis like this, the reason it all becomes flattened is because it is in perspective mode. If you click that little button there, that'll actually put you back into perspective mode, and you can see how things get distorted and like angles and things. So
What
The
button you hit?
into perspective is because it is in perspective mode. If you click that little button there, that'll actually put you back into perspective mode,
Oh, this thing.
and you can see how things get distorted and like angles and things. So the best reference is actually reference, which is in orthographic, like blueprints for something, but you usually don't have that. So you just go from something like this and just kind of best guess it. Anyways, okay, cool. So that's roughly the right size of image. Now we can model by going into edit mode, by hitting tab, toggle in and out of edit mode, and we can start to shape this to look like this mug here. So the first thing you will notice is like the general.
Yeah, I need to move it a bit, actually. Okay.
General broad shape of the mug is that it actually kind of
Give me a snack. My head kind of hurts. Better crackers, better goodies. Head.
it tapers towards the top.
Yeah.
Both lines are kind of tapered upwards.
They do.
And then there's a kind of a midpoint around about here where it starts to invert and it goes in the other direction. Okay, so it's a very smooth object and perfect for using Subsurf Modifier, which is what we've already got. So to get that taper going up to the side, I want to shrink the top of the mug here just a little bit. So I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to go into Edge Select mode at the top there, and then Alt, and then just left click on that line there. Not on like a middle point like here, or it'll select a different edge, but just on a mug here, just a little bit. So I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to go into Edge Select mode at the top there, and then Alt, and then just left click on that line there. Not on like a middle point like here, or it'll select a different edge, but just on the middle there. And then now I want to scale this in to just shrink the size just a little bit. So I'm going to scale that to there. And then I'm going to select the line underneath it, and I'm going to do the same thing. So Alt, click on that line, that edge, and then just scale it, about halfway there. Now I want to create this like widened point right here. And you can see like from here, like there's a lip at the bottom, but like from here to here, and then it goes up, I'd say probably 20% up the mug. That's where that middle point.
I'm not sure I scaled it at all.
Point is. So this line is close, but I'd probably pull it up a little bit. So I'm going to double tap G, and that'll let me slide that edge there.
I see.
And I'll put it to, it's about there. And now I want to pull it out to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to hit S and just pull that out to about there. And now I can see this line here is not quite right. So I'm going to scale this one out as well.
Hold on. What?
and just pull out to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to hit S and just pull that out to about there. And now I can see this line here is not quite right. So I'm going to scale this one out as well, just a little bit. Okay, that's
Yeah, I can tell it wasn't right. I'm following your lead, dog. Damn. Don't make me go AWOL.
roughly the right shape. Okay, now this bit at the bottom here. Okay, so I can see already that I
Hold on. For that for now.
need a little bit more detail. So I'm actually going to have to slide this line up here. So I'm going to hit double G to just kind of slide it up, and I'm going to pull it to about there. You can see now we've got kind of a more curved taper on that edge there, and I'm going to hit S to scale. I'm going to double tap G again.
Hold on, I got lost.
That edge, pull it to about double G to just kind of slide it up, and I'm going to pull it to about there. You can see now we've got kind of a more curved taper on that edge there, and I'm going to hit S to scale. I'm going to double tap G again, and I'm just by eye, just guessing to try to get this form here. But you can see you can very quickly start to shape any sort of object you want by just moving, sliding lines around, and scaling things. Okay, so now obviously this face at the bottom here, so if I go into face select mode or by just hitting 3, this has to be this little lip at the bottom there. What do you call that? I guess like a lip? There's probably a word for it. All the pottery people watching this tutorial are going to tell me what it is. And they'll also tell me about the price of manual labor and why that coffee mug was quite well priced, I'm sure. Anyways, I'm going to, I'll scale it in a little bit. I'm just trying to guess, like, where would it start? But, you just do it by eye. I think about there. Okay, and now with this face here selected, I need more geometry because I want to actually pull it out from that face there. But I can't just like pull it down, right? Because now it's stretching it. I need more geometry. And so that is called an extrusion. And thankfully, the hotkey for extrusion is just the first letter of its name, which is E. E for extrusion. And just like inset and everything else in Blender, the moment you tap it, you're now in that mode. I can pull it upwards. I could pull it downwards. Obviously, downwards is what we want. So I'm going to do a single click right there. Okay. And then now, if I go back and just look at it in object mode, and by the way, if you want to see it like the donut, you want to make it look smooth, you can as well by going to Shade Smooth. And that's okay, but you can see that this line here This is a much tighter line, okay? And the reason that this is happening is, of course, because of subsurf modifier and the way that it works. It's essentially going from here to here, and then kind of like, I guess, like a mid. And okay, but you can see that this line here, this is a much tighter line, okay? And the reason that this is happening is, of course, because of subsurf modifier and the way that it works. It's essentially going from here to here, and then kind of like, I guess, like a midpoint in the middle there, and it's trying to taper from there all the way in.
Yeah, we don't
but then
want that.
also from this point here, it now has to taper from there to kind of smooth out that line. So we end up with just kind of like this like very smoothed out little nub. But to fix it, we just have to add in more geometry so that it doesn't start the smooth so much further up. So to do that, we need another loop cut, which you might remember the hotkey, or you can find it in the menu, Edge, Loop Cut, and Slide, but it is Control R. So Control.
Loop, cut, and slide. I still have the surface selected. Or does it matter?
Control R when you're in this.
Oops.
From the fifth
I don't know
version.
what happened.
And by the way, if you want to see it like the donut, you want to make it look back and inset and everything down mode, just shade smooth, and the way that it works to taper from there to kind of smooth out that line. So we end up with just kind of like this like very smoothed out little nub.
Oh, right, the cut. Yeah.
But to fix it, we just have to add in more geometry so that it doesn't start the smooth so much further up. So to do that, we need another loop cut, which you might remember the hotkey, or you can find it in the menu, Edge, Loop Cut, and Slide, but it is Control R. So Control R, when you're in this mode, where do you want to put it first? So do a single click on this face here. So click, and then it's like now saying where do you want to slide it to. So I'm going to slide one to the bottom.
Yeah.
Like so. And then I need another one right above it. So I did a click there to confirm it. So I'm going to hit Control R, and now placing it on the exact same place, and I'm just going to pull it up. And there we go. And now you can see it's much tighter at the bottom there, and it looks good. And if you really wanted to clean up this bottom base there, you can see we kind of got that like starfishy pattern happening. You could do the same thing we did before, which is select that face there and then do an inset. It's not really that essential. No one's really going to select got that like.
Can't tell me what not to do.
Starfishy. You'll like it.
God damn it.
So that it doesn't start the smooth so much further up. I need another one right above it. So I did a click there to confirm it. So I'm going to hit Control R, and now placing it on the exact same place, and I'm just going to pull it up. And there we go. And now you can see it's much tighter at the bottom there, and it looks good. And if you really wanted to clean up this bottom base there, you can see we kind of got that like starfishy pattern happening. You can do the same thing we did before, which is select that face there and then do an inset. It's not really that essential. No.
Inset. Can't move anywhere. Right? Oh, because I wasn't going in. Yeah. I'd like to, but I'm gonna stick to the tutorial. Twist my arm.
No one's really going to notice it, but you might, and maybe you want to clean it up. So yeah, but that's pretty good. That's great. That's a good start to the mug. It looks good. Awesome. Well done. Now it's time for the challenge. Oh, but that's pretty good. That's my set. It's not really that essential. No one. Really.
Did he shade smooth without me looking?
really stir at the place. In this edge, you can as object model by going to shades. And by the way, if you want to see it like the donut, you want to make it look smooth, you can as well by going to shade smooth. And that's okay, but you can see that this line here, this is a much tighter line, okay?
Okay.
And the reason that this is happening is, of course, because of subsurf modifier. It's like in smooth little, so like, so I did a click and you kind of got that fade, but you might, and maybe you want to clean it up. So yeah, but that's pretty good. That's great. That's a good start to the mug. It looks good. Awesome. Well done. Now it's time for the challenge.
I want to kind of adjust it. I feel like it's not. Oh. Feels better. I feel like bottom face needs to be tighter. No, it's still the sides, right? I can't do that. I got, okay, so still selecting the sides. It'd be Control Shift select. And I can scale. Now I'm happy. Okay. Good looking fucking. No, I'm not happy. Hang on. These two. Um, Can't make it go down further. Is it sides? Like the faces? There we go. trying to think. I'll just deal with it. Maybe I'll learn something later.
Challenge of making this handle. So you can see it starts about here and then obviously extrudes around and goes back into itself and is joined here. So how do we do this? So basically, whenever there is a join, and you can see there's like, you know, like a nice like bevel edge there kind of thing, it has to physically be part of the geometry of this. You can't just have it like existing out in space, because then it won't appear to be joined together. So essentially we have to find somewhere on this mesh to start the handle from. And that point is actually here, right here, which is why I've modeled it this way. Right here is where I'm going to extrude out. Now, before I show you how to extrude, I first of all want to show you, I'm going to do something and it's going to mess it up. And I'm going to then show you why we need to do something else first before we start extruding. So if I was to extrude this out, we could do the whole handle here, get it back there, make it look perfect. And then later on, look at our mug and go, oh no, what is going on? The reason this happens is because of, you might remember, the solidify modifier, which these modifiers, they're not part of the mesh, right? It's happening after the fact. So it's adding a thickness to any mesh that we have here. And it's now adding a thickness to the actual handle itself. So how do we fix that? We fix that by making this go from a modifier to real, like actually bake it into the mesh so that it's actually real geometry. And the way you do that is, first of all, let me just undo all of those. Control Z, of course. The way you do it is by going to
First. Weird. Oops.
Jans laughed says, lizard.
Lizard. I'll go with that.
to the modifier, and then in the little drop down in the top there, right next to that, the way you just undo all of those, Control Z, of course. The way you do it is by going to the modifier, and then in the little drop down in the top there, right next to that little camera icon, there is an apply. So when you click that, it's disappeared. And now when you go into edit mode though, you can see all that geometry that wasn't there before is now actually part of it. And you can see it if you turn off the subsurf modifier. So I can now make changes to the inner part of my model there without it having affecting the rest of it. So it's actual real mesh that we can manipulate. Obviously, the downside is it's no longer non-destructive. So that slider that we had for changing the thickness of the mug, we no longer have the slider. It would just mean if we wanted to change the thickness of the mug, we would have to like do it ourselves, like selecting all that stuff and doing it. But that's fine. You have to break the workflow eventually to add in customization. But there you go. So, anyways, now that I've got this, now when I select this face here, I can start to do the extrusion. So, importantly, make sure you're selecting the right face. If you were to select this one by mistake and then start trying to do your handle and then like twist it around, it would start to get screwed up very, very quickly. So make sure that you've got this red line that's like intersecting your mug there, that it is Yeah, like it's that one. It's like bang on to the middle. And you can actually check if you go into top view mode.
I didn't realize he wanted. I mean, it's fine. Empty. Fix that and just screw it out on the y-axis.
Mode, it should be directly in the middle of the mug there. Okay, so with that selected, I'm going to go into front view mode with numpad 1 or hitting that little green thing. And then I'm going to hit, again, the hotkey that we use for extrusion is E to extrude out. Now, when you do that, it's using the normals, the hidden, it's like the hidden direction of each of the faces that are on your mesh, okay? So it's kind of extruding it out like that. For most of you watching this, the extrusion there worked perfectly. But every now and then you go to extrude something and it doesn't work. And it's because there's something wrong with the normals of the face that you tried to extrude from. Basically, it would just mean you would have to clear the normals first. So basically you would select the face, then hit Shift N and it would clear normals. I've got, by the way, throughout this tutorial, that you're going to run into a lot of problems that I might not be able to explain to you. So I've actually created a troubleshooting guide called the Unstuck Yourself Guide. So the link for that is below as well. But this is just...
Oh. I'm gonna throw that in the old bookmark. Cool.
Just like a database of all the problems you might run into whilst you're doing this tutorial, because we noticed on the Blender Guru Discord, link for that is below as well, where you can ask questions and share your renders and stuff.
Common issues.
A lot of people are asking the same questions. So
Yeah,
we put together this like
Not
FAQ troubleshooting
FAQ.
guide, and please make use of that. So there'll probably be, when you're modeling things, people will run into issues. So just have a look at that if you run into an issue first. Anyways, sorry to really painfully slowly do this, but we've extruded out a little bit. Now I'm going to move this up. So just grabbing, so G to grab, I'm going to move up. And I might actually now, I'm going to tab out so that I can select my image. So I'm in object mode. And I'm actually just going to move this over.
I don't know why sometimes. Like I'll cancel extrusion, but it'll. Hang on, was that what he meant when he said?
So anyway, so
reset normals?
you're going to run and it would clear to extrude from. You would select the face, then hit Shift N and it.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome. For most of you watching this, the extrusion there worked perfectly. But every now and then you go to extrude something and it doesn't work. And it's because there's something wrong with the normals of the face that you tried to extrude from. Basically, it would just mean
I'm not sure why it leaves a dent when I cancel extrusion. And how to fix that. I don't know. I don't have enough Alt-Z's in the world.
you would have to clear the normals first. So basically, you would select the guide, and please make use of that. So there'll probably be, when you're modeling things, people will run into issues. So just have a look at that if you run into an issue first. Anyways, sorry to really painfully slowly do this, but we've extruded out a little bit. Now I'm going to move this up. So just grabbing, so G to grab, I'm going to move up. And I might actually now, I'm going to tab out so that I can select my image. So I'm in object mode. And I'm actually just going to move this
Make sure it's not fucked.
over. So
extrudes.
Anyways, sorry to really painfully slowly do this, but we've extruded out a little bit. Now I'm going to move this up. So just grabbing, so G to grab.
Okay. One day.
Now it's time. Whenever they're running up on all the middle, and you can share your renders and painfully now to that. So
I was selected. Got root it.
there'll probably be when you're modeling things, people will run into issues. So just have a look at that if you run into an issue first. Anyways, sorry to really painfully slowly do this, but we've extruded out a little bit. Now I'm going to move this up. So just grabbing, so G to grab, I'm going to move up. And I might actually now, I'm going to tab out so that I can select my image. So I'm in object mode. And I'm actually just going to move this over. So G and then X, move it over to be about there. Okay. And that'll just enable me to kind of see relative to the mug where it should go. Like, what is the shape? I could do it by eye, but yeah, I figure I might as well it's right there. I might as well just grab it and pull it over. So I need to position this about here, but you can see it's kind of getting like skewed, right? And that is because it's obviously coming in at like this slanted angle. So with that face select,
I'm actually going to kind of tweak something. I forgot. Modifier. Was right? Fixed. Okay.
selected, coming in at like this slanted angle. So with that face selected, I need to rotate it. So I'm going to hit R to rotate, like so. Okay, so like that. All right, and I might just trying to think. All right, I definitely need a loop cut because obviously that bit that's coming out looking like a nub on our mug there. So I'm going to hit Control R to create a loop cut, and I'm going to pull it down just so that I can see it's like where it should join, basically at the base there. All right, great. And now face select mode, select that face again. And now we just have to keep extruding around. But what I want to do is I want to scale, just make the handle look a little bit thinner. So I'm going to select this top edge here. And I'm going to double tap G just so that I can slide. So face select mode should join basically at the base there. All right, great. Just so that I can see it's like where it should join basically.
I think is mine pull far down. Bam.
At the base there. All right, great. And now face select mode, select that face again. And now we just have to keep extruding around. But what I want to do is I want to scale, just make the handle look a little bit thinner. So I'm going to select this top edge here. And I'm going to double tap G just so that I can slide it downwards a little bit to just make it a little bit thinner, because that handle obviously doesn't look as fat as what we had there. So, all right, so face select mode now. And now I'm going to start to extrude. So another extrusion, G to reposition, R to rotate it. And I just want to rotate it so that it kind of follows the contours of this. So I'm going to be rotating it like this kind of angle as we go around. So now E to do another extrusion, click, G.
I'm just have to go AWOL. What's it called?
Akumon says, can I help you a little bit?
You could try. I'm trying to kind of reset this, just bring this back. I can't. I'll see if I can follow along.
Akumon says, undo everything up until the point where you rotated the extruded face to get back on track.
I can't get that back that far. Otherwise I would have. Too many changes. Just have to work with what I have. I'm just keep going. I'm not gonna hyperfixate on it.
Doesn't downward look as a little bit.
I think the only thing I can do is just make more what was the hotkey? Cut, Control R. Make a few cuts here and just try to fucking work with it.
To just make it a little bit thinner, because that handle obviously doesn't look as fat as what we had there. So, all right, so face select mode now. And now I'm going to start to extrude. So another extrusion, G to reposition, R to rotate it. And I just want to rotate it so that it kind of follows the contours of this. So I'm going to be rotating it like this kind of angle as we go around. So now E to do another.
Is there not a face inside? I guess there. Oh. Let me turn that off. It look like there's shapes inside shapes. It's like there's multiple faces in here, but there's not. I don't understand. I mean, obviously I need to figure out how to fix this, because this will be something I'll run into in the future. Ads is God. Thanks for following. It's so weird. Okay. Oh, Ads is God. Thanks for the raid. We're gonna be staring at this for a while. Um, so canceling extrusion fucks it.
Adz's God says, good luck my friend. I
Yeah.
remember the donut and the cup, laughing face.
How far back can I go? Yeah, that's as far as I can go.
Akumon says, you made a tiny extrusion at the tip a while ago.
Yeah, but I can't delete it. If I delete it, I delete the entire face. Like I only have the single face selected, but now it's hollow.
Akumon says, in edge mode, you can alt-click on an edge to select an edge loop.
So the edge loop is that entire side. Because that's what alt clicking selects. But then, how do I fix it then?
Akumon says, it might be difficult to select the loop because you basically have two loops overlapping at the very tip.
Yeah, so I should be able to delete one and it'd be fine, right? It should be doing that, but it's not even doing that. It's not going around the entire thing.
Akumon says, and workaround is to select the face at the tip, then press Ctrl+ and lastly dissolve faces.
Control minus plus. Control plus just zooms in. Oh, on the numpad. Dissolve faces. I get to select more option.
Akumon says, Control and plus, numpad.
Yeah, that's what this is what comes up.
Akumon says, once more.
Nope. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? It's all faces.
Akumon says, Control Dash Plus should have expanded your face selection, so there must a gap or even more extrusions at the tip.
There's like 7 or 8. So I believe that's all of them. I seen that. There's actually one down there too. I think I could just move it. Okay. Or not. There's an extra one there. Can I do it like man. So I got here because when like doing extrusion, I would right click to cancel, but it's not actually canceling, it's actually just fucking it. I gotta just not just ignore the right click function of canceling the extrusions and anything else. Pretend it's not a feature. If there's just a way for me to delete an edge, but like not fuck the rest like that. Wrong button. Just keep doing it until That should be about
Akumon says,
fixed.
dissolving is like deleting without making holes.
Yeah.
Shortcut Control X.
That's about fixed. I don't think there's anything I can do about raising this bottom part. Unless I can do like, no. Find that fuck ass picture.
Akumon says, at this point I would recommend you dissolve the entire handle to make life a little easier.
Yeah, I guess I can do that. Cool.
Akumon
So what
says,
happens?
boom. You got it?
So that just makes like an extra. How can I prevent this again? So, hang on, let me visualize this. So when I cancel it, it's just like pushing it back into itself. So it actually looks like this on the inside. I see. So if I do that, so how do I catch it though? Manually. Is there something I could use to catch like a weird intersection?
Akumon says, don't forget about how to correctly cancel or undo an extrusion.
No, yeah. Prevention, right? I guess it'll probably stick out. But that's probably helping a lot. If I could damage control easier, I could work easier. What I really want to do, move this shit up. That's all I want to do. Oh, it is going to be a little, actually.
Lumi Arctic says, Happy New Year you beautiful human being.
Happy New Year! Oh my goodness gracious. Some poor guy got arrested. Right outside. Like 10 minutes before. I'm sorry, did I do that wrong? Oh, I didn't hold control.
Akumon says, now you can basically build the entire handle from the front view. Extrude, rotate, repeat.
see what I'm doing wrong. There we go. Where's that reference?
Jans Laft says, Helico TUH. Lumi
I
Arctic
guess
says,
I'm gonna.
I tried to learn how to do that and I discovered I have severe motion sickness. The constant rotation to check stuff killed me.
No, I could take it. The G forces. I feel like I kind of want to have an extra. He didn't do it, but oh shit, what was it? It was control save. Edge, loop cut slide, control R. Ah. I'll just carry on.
Extrusion. So we'll just like mode to be about there. You're making it by hand. So like, yeah, $33 is probably like actually
I didn't tab
into
out.
set mode. Gee, obviously that just enables you to that. So there'll probably be when you're modeling things, people will run into issues. So just have a look at that if you run into an issue first. Anyways, sorry to really painfully slowly do this, but we've extruded out a little bit. Now I'm going to move this up. So just grabbing, so G to grab, I'm going to move up. And I might actually now, I'm going to tab out so that I can select my image. So I'm in object mode. And I'm actually just going to move this over. So G and then X, move it over to be about there. Okay. And that'll just enable me to kind of see relative to the mug where it should go. Like, what is the shape? I could do it by eye, but yeah, I figure might as well just, it's right there. Might as well just grab it and pull it over. So I need to position this about here, but you can see it's kind of getting like skewed, right?
Can we appreciate that it didn't crash out? Can we take a moment to acknowledge? I need a goodies. I have a headache.
Jans Laft says, can't imagine why.
Can't imagine. Can't imagine why. What do you mean why? Well, no, I mean like the thing people do when they're very obviously frustrated. It's like it's not doing anything. I don't know. You know what I mean? In an almost whiny kind of way. Holy shit. It keeps lowering down to 1.
Jans Laft says, you. 1.
No.
Doubt.
When I do it in a funny way, okay.
And that is because it's obviously coming in at like this slanted angle. So with that face selected, I need to rotate it. So I'm going to hit R to rotate, like so.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that.
Rotated.
All right, and I might just trying to think. All right, I definitely need a loop cut because obviously that bit that's coming out looking like a nub on our mug there. So I'm going to hit Control R to create a loop cut, and I'm going to pull it down just so that I can see it's like where it should join, basically at the base there. All right, great. And now face select mode, select that face again. And now we just have to keep extruding around. But what I want to...
Sir. I'm not having the same problem that he is. And honestly, it looks fine so far without the loop cut. Actually, hang on. Maybe not actually. Damn.
Akumon says, keep the front view to make your life easier during this phase.
Yeah,
Smiley face.
I'm going to, but what was I doing? I hid the entire mug. Is there an unhide hotkey? Hooks? No. Alt H. Why'd the whole mug hide though? Weird. Why'd the whole mug hide? In edit mode? Because before this, I'm a little bit acquainted to some of the stuff in here. I haven't visited UV editing at all, but I looked at a lot of the shading. I couldn't find a way to hide things, but then unhide them, especially through the outline. I mean H, right? And there's some weirdness. I mean, obviously object mode, hide, unhide. So yeah, that's what I want to do. Shit! I have to put a pause on this. Oops. So yeah, I do have to do the... I'll go and do that. See if I can finish this handle.
Yawns Laughed says, you working?
Of course. Oh, actually, I am working. I got off early yesterday. Even if I'm not working, I'm working. If we're closed, I'm coming in anyway. Because I just clean, and I've got the keys.
Yawns Laughed says, LUL.
Because it's a bit of a further drive.
Yawns Laughed says, I'm off today.
If anything, I'll just hang out an hour and clean some general stuff, and then leave it at that. What was it? Control R? All right, carrying on.
What I do is I want to scale, just make the handle look a little bit thinner. So I'm going to select this top edge here, and I'm going to double tap G just so that I can slide it downwards a little bit to just make it a little bit thinner, because that handle obviously doesn't look as fat as what we had there. So, all right, so face select mode now, and now I'm going to start to extrude. So another extrusion, G to reposition.
Pause. But not. That'd probably be a bad move. Yeah, I don't know. It'll just be kind of weird. Moving on. If I was more determined, I think I'd just do what I was doing earlier and like kind of adjust the faces on the inside and on the outside to kind of. I'd add more fucking vertices, or like one more up here for the handle. I'm just keep following the tutorial, not add more than I need to.
R to rotate it, and I just want to rotate it so that it kind of follows the contours of this. So I'm going to be rotating it like this. All right, so face making it by hand.
Damn it, I did it again.
So like, yeah, $33 is
All right.
probably like
It's happened so many times, I know
break-even.
exactly where we're at.
Art mode, select that face again. And now we just have to keep extruding around. But what I want to do is I want to scale, just make the handle look a little bit thinner. So I'm going to select this top edge here. And I'm going to double tap G just so that I can slide it downwards a little bit to just make it a little bit thinner, because that handle obviously doesn't look as fat as what we had there. So, all right, so face select mode now, and now I'm going to start to extrude. So another extrusion, G to reposition, R to rotate it. And I just want to rotate it so that it kind of follows the contours of this. So I'm going to be rotating it like this kind of angle as we go around. So now E to do another extrusion, click, G, click, R. Now, by the way, there is another way to extrude, which is actually kind of perfect for this. But if you hold down Control and then right click, it will not only extrude, but it will also rotate the faces so that they align. And it can be...
You suck. I get it. I understand why. What was it?
A little, but it will
Control E.
Another way to extrude, which is actually kind of perfect for this. But if you hold down Control and then right click, it will not only extrude, but it will also rotate the faces so that they align. And it can be a little helpful, a bit more easier than doing this like E, G, R, S, G, R. Like, so just holding down Control and then right click will just place these little...
I need, hang on. I gotta fucking, I gotta fix this. Ooh, was it Control R? It was. Okay, how the fuck can I fix this shit? I guess I can just take this line and fucking move it, right? A little whack, but... do I want to? Or I could just do what I was doing earlier and just move this entire thing. Okay. Look the side again.
Points, and we'll rotate them so that you don't have to do all that rotation yourself. It really only works for these kind of appendages like this, but might as well use it because it's a very handy way to do it. Okay, cool. So now the tricky bit. It's not really that tricky. It's relatively easy to solve, but it's a conundrum, right? Like, how do we make this mesh with the rest of the mesh? And you do that by... like, the wrong way to do this would be to just like kind of like smush them together.
I like wrong ways.
And this is kind of like early 3D stuff. Like a lot of stuff was like this. They kind of mashed stuff and intersected it together. But then you don't get that edge there where it like catches the light. Yeah, and the only way to really get that is to actually physically like join this mesh together. So this face here has to be connected to this face somehow. And the easiest way in this case to do is to, first of all, we can see that this line here is like cutting into the middle of this this cup here, right? So we really need to just add a line that goes around there to make this area here like one face to match this handle. So I'm going to add that line by hitting Control R, loop cut, click, and then I'm going to slide it up to be, you know, roughly about there. That's fine. And then now, because I've intersected it, that went too far. So I'm holding down Z. case has
How
to,
did
is
he-
to, but then you don't get physical that.
How far
and
into-
you do that by, like, the wrong way to do this would be to just like kind of like smush them together, right? And this is kind of like early 3D stuff. Like a lot of stuff was like this. There's kind of, right?
So you do
Like
smush
the
them
wrong
together
way to do
first.
this would be to just like kind of like smush them together, right? And this is kind of like
Okay.
early 3D stuff. Like a lot of stuff was like this. There's kind of
So, like, kind of
mashed stuff and intersected it together.
lazily,
But then you don't get that edge there where it like catches the light. And the only way to really get that is to actually physically like join this mesh together. So this face here has to be connected to this face somehow. And the easiest way in this case to do is to, first of all, we can see that this line here is like cutting into the middle.
I need an extra. Controller? Oop, nope. Not controller. Control. No, not E. Shift E. No. Oh. What was it called? It was an edge. No, not bevel.
Akumon says, you want to make that loop cut and then later connect the tip of the handle.
Yeah, I just don't. I need it to curve down a bit more. Oh, I don't remember what it's called. Is whatever the control right? Shit. Wait, what was the button again? No, not that. Whatever that is. I forgot what it's called. Extrude. Yeah. Before I do that. Shit, I gotta select it. There's one last extrusion. I just don't want it to be, doing that.
Akumon says, the handle is perfectly fine when it's not touching.
Oh, really? Actually, I think that's fine. I just want to kind of, whatever the opposite of taper is.
Jans Laft says, isn't that what he's
Expand.
teaching you?
Yeah, he's teaching how to connect.
Of this this cup here, right? So we really need to just add a line that goes around there to make
So he wants to
this
add-
area here like one face to match this handle. So I'm going to add that line by hitting Control R, loop cut, click, and then I'm going to slide it up to be, roughly about there. That's fine. And then now, because I've
Hold on, I'm having issues finding my loop cut. It's kind of. Hang on, am I crazy? Is it like. Rotated slightly in the wrong way? It is. But I'm concerned.
intersected it. That
I think I know why. I think it's because I didn't have it locked to an axis, so like any slight variation just kind of happened. But you know what? This was handmade, so.
that went too far. So I'm
Okay, what?
slide it up to be, roughly about there. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then now,
Everything up to
because
Z.
I've intersected it, that went too far. So I'm holding down Z. Now this is
Z,
a way of
because we're
quickly
European.
changing the mode that you're viewing something
Akumon
in.
says,
Um,
there's a bridge
and
faces
we'll get
command
to
that
these
is
other two
perfect
ones.
here to connect the handle with ease. Because of that, you want to leave a gap for now.
Okay. Oh, I see. And it'll automatically, yeah, okay, got it. So I'll do what I learned earlier. Oh, and accidentally as well. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Hang on, check this out. Let's hide all that shit. Hell yeah. Didn't even misclick. Hell yeah, dude. Okay. So I assume rotating in this screen keeps it on the x-axis. Like there's no possibility. Oh well. Maybe not. Local. Well, we're not going to worry about it.
We get to materials, rendering and stuff. But for now, if you just swap to wireframe mode, this will show you through the mesh.
Oh wait, hang
there
on.
is another way
I
to
didn't do it right. Z.
see through a mesh, and that is to, at the top there, that little X-ray or Alt-Z is a hotkey for it. But that's another way to do it. But yeah, you can see that's wireframe, and then hang on a second. Nope, that's X-ray. This is wireframe. But yeah, they're pretty similar. Anyways, so I'm going to select my face here, and I'm just going to pull it out, just so that I can just grab it basically. And now I can go back to my solid view as before. Okay. So I touched on this briefly before, but like a mesh is made up of these individual points, right? This is what you're seeing when you're in vertice mode, these individual points.
Yeah.
And each of those points, when you have 4 together, 3 or more actually, you can create a face. And so that's what that is. So essentially, I need to create a new face for this section right here. So let's do that now. So I'm going to select those two, and I've just selected them by holding down Shift like this, and then I'm just going to hit F. F for face. Okay, and then I can do the same on this side.
Hang on, wait, something happened. Hold on, wait.
Just selected them by holding down Shift like this, and then I'm just going to select those two, and I've just selected them by holding down Shift like this.
I wonder if I was accidentally holding Control. No. I ended up selecting the entire. Anyway. Oh, you know, I might have also selected that one too. Face. All right.
And then I'm just going to hit F. F for face. Okay, and then I can do the same on this side, like that. And then I'm going to do the same on the top. And then I'm going to do the same under.
All right, let's do it. Maybe it'll fix itself.
Akumon says, why does MR Guru make this unnecessarily complicated? You could just bridge connect the face and be done in 1/10 of the time.
I think I know why. He wants to show you how it works, so you can understand it, and then he'll give you like the shortcut afterwards. I was going through the 2003 video, and he went through like a long process. Let me hide this reference of like doing something, and he's like, or you just do the add-on, and it'll just automatically do it. I think knowing the process is good. There's something happening here. I don't know what. Also, before I forget, I think I could afford to, because I lowered it because I was having some lag issues, but I think I've resolved it somehow.
Jan's
Went
Lab
nuclear.
says, it's less about getting everything done efficiently and more about using this project to teach you different tools.
Yeah. Understanding it, I think, is really, really important. Because you can do it, but if you don't understand it and you run into issues, you have way less tools to problem solve. Let me think. Undo steps. I could bring this up. I don't know where it's at normally. Huh. How much memory am I working with? GPU memory or the dedicated GPU 6.0? We're up. Oh, by the way, the GPU PSU comes in on the 3rd, on a weekend. I don't think deliveries happen on the weekend. We'll see. But GPU PSU getting upgraded. Also, apparently GPU prices are spiking. So I picked a really good time. Like the day before I ordered that, then news about GPU prices spiking happened. So that's kind of funny. I'll leave it. I just want to increase the undo steps. Okay.
Neath.
Right. So I think I just have this at a really weird, awkward angle. I'll rotate across that axis. And flipped. So it should look a little bit better. I'm sure I could have adjusted it while it was connected, but I didn't want to lose the undo steps in case it became foobar. Look at that. And I assume I obviously want to... I'm going to pull up the reference in a second. Maybe move that a little bit closer. That's kind of weird. Not. All right, pull it up. We'll fix it in post.
Okay. All right. So I've done it, and I did it deliberately this way because I need to show you the reason for this issue here. So we've got we've got the faces, so they should be going smoothly across here. But because of the way meshes work and the way they try to the way smooth shading works is it does it based on like a continuous flow of faces.
Oh, right.
And you
the smooth shading. It was object mode. Yeah. Because he had his coffee mug smooth shaved and he did it really quickly between steps and I didn't catch it. I'm like, wait, why is his coffee smoother than mine? And I went back and like, oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Is it because that's not smooth shaved? Because it's a new, basically new face that's coming from nowhere.
You will have noticed that when we created this, there was actually a face that is inside here before we joined it, okay? And I'll show you if we go into here. This area here, you should see there is a face.
All right, hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to understand. Let me do that. Ooh.
That is right here. So because that exists, the smooth shader doesn't actually know that it's supposed to continue on because there's a face that goes down. So it's now
John's
kind of
Laugh says,
mixed. It
lizard.
doesn't know, like it has to create a smooth shading here, but then also one on the top there. And so it's done this weird hybrid thing where it's like it's tried to do it, but there's clearly something going on underneath. So what we need to do is just delete that face. So again, in face select mode, you select that inner face there. And by the way, when you're working in 3D, this is a really common thing beginners do, is they select the wrong face. So you can see how quickly that, like, they're right next to each other, that point there, right? But selecting one or the other, it just happens all the time. So a thing that a lot of 3D artists do is when they've selected something, before they delete it, you just do a quick orbit around, and that'll just like break the perspective and just to verify that that is the actual one I mean to select. Okay, then I'm going to hit X and I'm going to say faces. Okay, but it's not just that one, right? Like that. I'm actually that should be fixed soon, but anyway, I'll show you how. And then there's one on the inside here as well, okay? Because when we joined it, there was a face here and there was a face over there. So I'm now going to delete that face by hitting X and then say anyway, I'll show you how. But it's not just that one, right? Like that. I'm actually that should be fixed soon, but anyway, I'll show you how. And then there's one on the inside here as well, okay? Because when we joined it, there was a face here and there was a face over there. So I'm now going to delete that face by hitting X and then say faces. Okay, now that's done. This should be correct, but the reason it's not is one, I think if I need to right click and say shade smooth, and that has fixed it.
Yeah, of course. Hang on, right click the entire
Not
object.
is one, I think if I
Yeah, he's back in
this
object
should be
mode.
correct, but the reason it's not is one, I think if I need to right click and say shade
How does this
smooth,
look?
this should be correct.
Oh, why does mine look kind of whack? Anyway, smooth shave. Yo, what the fuck? Why is mine circumcised?
John's Laugh says, Dan's game.
Correct, but the reason it's not is one, I think if I need to right click and say shade smooth, and that has fixed it. What what can happen sometimes is when you've fixed up some geometry, you might.
Let me go do it. Alright, I've got my circumcised fucking handle.
Might need to recalculate the normals, like and again, to bring up the normals, there's a secret hidden line that every face on your object has, and they're always pointing outward
says,
like that.
This
But
is
when
pure
you've
madness.
created new
Smiley
mesh and you've
face.
kind of
Guru created a problem for no good reason. There's a right tool for a job.
I think it's good to know.
fixed things or whatnot, you can end up with one of these lines that goes the wrong direction.
I like to think of it more as learning how to problem solve than
And I'll show
learning
you
how
that
to actually
actually.
do the thing.
If I just do this. That's what it might look like. You get this weird black shading artifacts that's very ugly. So to fix that, you select your entire mesh and then you hit Shift N and that will
so edit mode all. Use Shift N.
recalculate that. You select your entire mesh and then you hit Shift N and that will recalculate it. And now you can see the smooth shading is correct. And just to show you quickly as well, the way I did it just then, where we created it and then we deleted the faces, don't do this. I'm just going to show you. Actually what you would do.
Okay, hang on.
because it's not this tedious normally. If you had this problem, you would actually select this face and this face first. You delete them ahead of time, and then actually, and there's a faster way to have created this.
Hang on, wait.
This join here, you can select that entire edge loop with Alt, then Shift Alt, select that, and now I could right click and say Bridge Edge Loops, which you only can do if you've got the exact same number of vertices on one side as the other. But I want to just show you physically creating those points with vertices, because that is a really common way to model, to join things together. You select the 4 vertices, you create a new face. You've got the, now I could
He
it's
removed
deleted the faces.
I think he just deleted it altogether, right? Delete faces. And then hold on. That Control Shift.
Akumon says, with bridge faces it would not even be necessary to delete a thing.
Hang on.
Don't do this. I'm just going to. If you had this problem, you would actually, and there's a faster way to have created this join here. You can select that entire edge loop with Alt, then Shift Alt, select that, and now I could right click and say Bridge Edge.
Oh, there it is.
Edge loops, which you only can do if you've got the exact same number of vertices on one side as the other. But I want to just show you physically.
So doing it like that, it'll just I guess it would automatically delete the additional walls, right? I wonder. I'm trying to think of the application of doing it the other way. Off the top of my head, I can only think of like clothing, like cloth stuff.
Creating those points with vertices, because that is a really common way to model, to join things together. You select the 4 vertices, you create a new face. Anyways, look at that. We've got what looks like a handle coming out of the mug. Now, if we look at our reference here, we've got it pretty close, but you can see that there's like, it's sharp, right? Yeah. There's clearly like a crease here and a crease here. And we can do that just by adding in more loop cuts. So I'm going to add in, well, I guess there's 2 ways to do it. One, I can actually just select this edge here. So holding down Alt, just select that and then double tap G and I can bring that in.
Yeah.
But when I do that, this area becomes a little bit straight. Maybe not what I wanted. Let's have a look at front mode. Yeah, I might want a little bit more detail there, in which case I would add a loop cut. But, you know, it's really up to you. You might be able to just, you know, move this around and just kind of shape it. Like, look, we're learning Blender. That's really the goal of this. It's not necessarily to make a physically accurate mug. I don't want to overcomplicate things and make things feel like you have to do everything perfectly, but I also don't want to end up with like a trash result and then everyone be like, oh, we did all that effort and now it looks garbage. But, you know, you could spend a lot of effort. You know, you could even try and get, like, if you look at, you know, there would be probably like a little line here, like the kind of, you know what I mean? Like on the inner part of the thing, you could try and create that. You could really add a lot of detail. The only thing I'm really going to fix is right here where it's pinching. I'm just going to select that edge there and I'm going to double tap G and I'm just going to slide it up. So there's just a little less pinching. And then this part here, like you can see the shape of this face is being very distorted, right? You generally want to keep things as close to a squarish shape as possible, generally. And so I'm just going to select this edge at the bottom there, double tap G, and I'm just going to pull it out just to relieve a little bit of the tension there. And I mean, you can, yeah, there's like a tighter line there, but this will do. This is enough to be perceived as a coffee mug. Now, if you want to just move ahead with the tutorial and get onto that.
I will kind of just do that real fast. I like how you can see where the starting point was with the yellow line.
the next part, which is going to be on materials and lighting. You can do that. However, if you want a little bit of a challenge, like a little bit of a homework, where you can
Homework.
try to use some skills but by yourself, you will see, looking at the photo here, that we also have a saucer, a little tiny plate for our mug.
Oh my God.
Now, I didn't include that in my final image. I just had the coffee mug just sitting on the table. But this is a great, very small thing that you could try to model by yourself using the skills that you've just learned to create something new. So how would you go about adding that saucer? You could have a try at it. It's a completely separate object, obviously, to your mug here. So even if you screw it up, worst case scenario is you just delete it, and then you'll still end up with something that I actually had for my final result, which was a mug without a saucer. But if you want to add that in, it'll be a way to kind of take some of the lessons that you've picked up already, and then try to remember them and the different steps and the things required to create it. Because whilst you've just created something now, it's the best time to try to recall that memory, so
Just did.
that in the future, maybe in a few days or a few weeks from now, when you try to do something yourself, it'll be a lot more readily available to recall that information. So if you want to have a go at doing that, feel free to. Otherwise, join me in the next part and we'll get onto some materials and texturing.
I will say, when he shows the inefficient way to kind of teach you how it works and how to fix common issues, I think he should preface every time with like, okay, I'm gonna show you the difficult way, and then I'm gonna show you the efficient way. I think he should preface. At least I could mentally prepare. But I can deal with that. Okay, so that was part 2. How many parts does he have currently? Man, I don't have a hide hotkey for the OBS. What the fuck? Do I not? And hovering over it doesn't show me the hotkey? What the fuck? My Blender is very well structured now, I can tell. Yeah, we're on part 2. I didn't finish part 3. I don't know why it's... I might have clicked on it. Basic lighting and rendering in Blender, doing it finale. Is it really? I mean, I guess if he did it all in one go, right? But shit, his other donut video was like 5 hours long. What is this, like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours? I mean, an hour less. Okay. All right, let's save this bitch. Wait, how'd the funnel get back out here? Oh, right. Right. Talking about that green thing right there. I thought I put it in the drawer. But I remembered it was for me. So I'll put it in my car. I gotta go to work. Dude, it's so fun. I heard sirens. I'm like, oh, I guess some people blew themselves up.
Dadrith says, bye.
Bye. And then I hear the sirens stop outside. I'm like, hmm? And then fucking, don't move, don't fucking move. I'm like, hell yeah. And I look outside and I see like flashlights going down the hill. So funny. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. Nads God. Thanks for rating. And thank you everyone for hanging out as I struggle. Let me see. Okay, so you know what? Hang on. The Subway's open, but the app isn't letting me order. Like, they've got to be open by now, right? Well, the app. This location currently closed. It's not closed. I checked Google Maps. This bitch ain't closed. Lordy, lordy. Okay. Well, I guess some subways are closed. Today's the 1st. Oh, I just realized. We have a background. Kate sits us back in frame. No, game cap. He's still there. He's still there. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm out of here. Right.
Go watch Hell the Honors.